Hello, readers. Welcome back. Happy Friday. So today in reading, we really want you to do two things. So if you have not watched the video before this on Canvas about logging into Illuminate to complete your CFA, please do so first, okay? Because we will be doing a CFA is just a short little check-in quiz that will just see how you're doing on the different skills we've been teaching. And so if you'll do that first, that is your first assignment. And then I also want to model for you and explain what you're going to do second today. So we have been working all week in reading on recognizing things about the plot, making theories about the plot by looking at big changes, big problems, big moments. And so today we just wanted to take a break from that and go back to one of our first lessons we taught last week, which was making jots about our reading and taking little notes, capturing our thinking on paper about what we're reading. And if you remember last week, Mrs. Anderson modeled this using a think mark sheet. And so I'm going to do that again today with the story that we have read this week that most of you know, and just remind you what we're really looking for when we jot. So readers, it's good to jot and write down what you're thinking so you can interact with your story and remember things. And so we made a sheet that has some codes to help you kind of remember. The jots don't have to be super long, complete sentences. They're just your thoughts that you're capturing in a way that is easy for us to understand and read and for you to remember too. So let me share my screen. Let's see here. So if you remember, the story I'm going to be modeling from today is Fish Cheeks. I believe most of you have read this from an assignment early on, so I'm not going to read the story again. It's just a short story about a girl, a Chinese American girl, who her parents invite this boy that she likes, a white American boy that she likes, and his family to their Chinese Christmas. And she is mortified because she's really ashamed of her Chinese culture. And she really learns by the end, she realizes her mom really did it to help her and love on her and help her see that she shouldn't be ashamed of who she is. And so what I did is I have already read it and I have taken some notes or jots while I read. And so first, let me review what this think mark sheet looks like. Okay, so you will see this on your Canvas today that you're going to be using with your own book. And we have on the left column here a list of think marks. And basically all these are little symbols or pictures for you to write by your notes that you're going to take about what you're thinking. You're really just writing down things that you're thinking about as you read someone else's story. You do not have to use every single one of these each time you jot. You could have 2 questions about things you're wondering. You could have no connections for a particular passage. You could think there's 2 or 3 important parts. So you are not locked into using every single one. This does not correspond with the line across. It's just a little chart to help you use them. So you can see for mine, okay, you're going to put your book title, Fish Cheeks. This is a short story, so my start page is 1, my end page is 2. Today, you would put your pages of the books you're in. And you can see that I started here every jot that I have, and you want to have at least 5 today. I start with a symbol in front of it of what it connects to over here. So these are the things I was thinking. I also put the page number I found this on in case I need to go back when I'm meeting with kids or other people about it. So one thing I noticed right off the bat that I was thinking is that, man, this girl is really ashamed of her Chinese culture because the whole first couple paragraphs, she is like nonstop talking about how embarrassing her Chinese relatives are, how they celebrate Chinese Christmas. So I put a little asterisk here, which is this little symbol over here, because I thought that was an important part right off the bat. Like, she doesn't come out and say I'm ashamed, but it is very clear she is not okay with who she is. That was one thought that I was thinking. As I kept reading, it describes how her mom was making all these authentic to Chinese culture food dishes. And I just had a simple question. So I started with a question mark because I'm wondering, and I'm wondering if I would like all the food her mom cooked and made. Some of the things they were describing, I have never had before. So that's a wondering that I had. And then I also used an exclamation point one time because as I was reading, one thing that was surprising to me is it talks about how they were eating the fish and her dad took the meat right below the fish eye and offered it to her as like a gift. And okay, for me, for someone who doesn't eat fish like that, that would surprise me. And so I'm surprised that her dad offered her the fish cheek of all parts of the fish. And one thought I had was this must be a part of the Chinese culture. Like maybe that's like the best part of the fish. And I didn't know that. And I also put that I found it on page 2. And then I had a few other ones. I did have a favorite part, which would be a heart. My definitely favorite part of that story is when her mom told her, and I just put it in quotes, your only shame, let me fix that. Your only shame is to feel shame. And I just wrote super powerful because her mom seemed to be totally fine with who she was. And she did all of that. Just she wanted her daughter to be free to be herself, which is, and I'm thinking to myself, that little phrase is really powerful for myself too, when I feel shame about things. And then my last one, I can have way more than 5, but I'm going to do 5 today. I put the letter P because I have a prediction from the end of the story. I wrote, I think this girl will forever be changed by this experience and walk with more confidence in who she is. There is also a space over here. If you don't want to use any of these marks, you have your own kind of thought and you want to make your own symbol for it, you can, but you don't have to. You can just be jotting your thoughts as you're reading in the page. So today, I know that is a little bit of a review because you have seen those before. Today, we really want you to get into your own books that you guys have been reading. We have done a lot of short stories this week, but we want you to get into your own book, and you can download or move it over to markup in Canvas, or you can write it on paper and take a picture, but we want you to jot from the books that you're reading, and you're going to be using the Think Marks page. Remember, you don't have to use all of them. Use the ones that make the most sense to you, things that come to your mind as you read. And make sure, of course, at the end you upload it to Canvas and you put it in your Pages notebook. Happy reading.